What's up, everybody? We're in Birmingham. We're in the Lakeview district of Birmingham, Alabama. We're speaking with Gary Gow today. Gary just bought this building right here. This is an enormous building, huge strip center, a lot of restaurants. There's a restaurant right here. There's some stuff down here, another restaurant. Up top, there are
54 unit apartment buildings.
54 units of apartments up above all these restaurants in the prime area of Birmingham, Alabama. Gary, everybody's going to want to know right off the bat, how'd you do it?
Well, for a deal like this, I always like to say there are only two pieces. Number one, the deal. Number two, the money. And the hardest part is the deal. The money is really money is not the hard part. The hardest part is the deal. Think about it. If I have the Empire State Building under contract for $1,000 and I have $0 in my pocket, I can come to anybody and ask for, hey, do you have money? And then people are going to give me the money to buy. If the deal is good enough, it's going to work out. And this one, it's a lot of these larger apartment buildings, they're never owned by a single person. It's owned by a group. So this is one of the deals I stumbled upon. I'm like, I don't have enough money for this. I want to buy it. I want to put my money into it, but I don't have enough money. So, but I still want to make it work. So I started calling a few buddies of mine, and we come up and bought it all together. So.
Just call a few buddies of mine, right? Just call a few buddies and just to get the deal done.
The sugar daddies.
We're gonna get into super deep detail about this deal right here with Gary. But before we do all that, Gary, just tell us about you. How'd you even get into real estate?
Well, 2016, I left college. I never graduated. I left college. I was working a job at the BRRRR at Compass, which is actually quite a few walking distance from this building. I was working at BRRRR at Compass, living in my apartment building. My lease expired. I was like, I don't want to lock my lease for another year, just paying rent and throwing my money away. So I want to buy a home. Well, based on my income at the time, the only home I could afford is way out in the city. It's like 40-minute drive. And with the traffic, that'll be an hour. I don't want to waste that much of my life on the road, because 2 hours a day going in and out. I'm like, not gonna do it. So I want to buy in the better location, closer to downtown, closer to where I work. But homes are very expensive. I'm like, well, the only thing I could afford is a house with a leaky roof, stinky carpet, wallpaper, and air conditioning doesn't work. So, long story short, there's this guy. He's a flipper around town. We need to cut this part out. His name is, I don't want...
You don't have to reveal his name.
Okay.
All right, there's a flipper in town, okay.
Yeah. He doesn't like to tell, like,
All
he
good.
likes to stay quiet.
All good. There's a house flipper in town.
Yeah, I bought a house from him. He pretty much wholesaled the house to me.
Okay.
And I was like looking up on YouTube how to lay vinyl plank flooring, paint walls, patch holes, fix up a house. One day the neighbor approached me. Hey, I want to move my mother-in-law inside this house because she lives like right down, like behind my house. Our backyards butted against each other. So this house is the only house she wants because she can cut a little path in the backyard, connect the house. So I know, like, she knows how much value my house has. So and that's the moment I realized how much my house is worth now. I paid about $196 for the house in Hoover, Alabama. Put in about $15,000-$20,000 off of material, a lot of elbow grease, like how to do a 3-way light switch, and now let's look it up on YouTube and do that. How to install a toilet faucet.
Right.
Did all that, and then realized the house worth about $300,000 after doing $19,000-$20,000 of material, putting all that material into it. So I was like, this is nice. I did not sell the house. I went to a bank, used home equity line of credit, borrow out the equity. I took out the equity, and then meanwhile, that's a 5-bedroom house. And you and me, we play a little ultimate frisbee. Yeah, I like play a little.
I've known Gary for a little bit of time. We used to play back when I was running more. We used to play ultimate frisbee.
You're in great shape, trust me. I called some of my frisbee buddies. It's a 5-bedroom house. I called 4 of them. Hey, come stay with me. It's a house. $550 a month if you sign a lease with me. $600 a month if you want to do a month-to-month lease with me.
Per bedroom.
Per bedroom. So rented 4 bedrooms out. With so it's 5 college age guys living in one tiny little house. The neighbors loved us, sort of. Right. Yeah. So we're all living in that house. I was collecting a little rent, and I mean,
if I was paying all your bills, right?
Paying all my bills.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, I use a home equity line of credit, took an equity out. I realized I have this $40,000-$50,000 I can spend on things. Well, why don't I flip another house? So I ended up calling up the same house flipper that helped me with the first one. Hey, John Smith, can I work with you again? Bought another house from him, flipped it again, made some money. I did it again. 3 houses later, I realized my job is paying me $50,000 a year pre-tax. So I'm really getting about 36 grand a year. I made about well over 200 grand from flipping 4 houses. I'm like, I don't think I need my job anymore. So I quit my job.
That's how it all began for you.
Yeah, that's how it began. Flip houses for money, and then where should I put that money? Bought a bunch of single family home rentals. So I had duplex in the hood, in the ghetto. Had bought single family homes, townhouses in Vestavia, house in Gardendale, Moody, all in Alabama. On average, their purchase price about $150,000 each, and they rent about the 1% rule, about $1,500 a month. Because, well, I mean, I kind of paid like $110 for it, put 40 grand in it, so I have $150 all in, and then realized this is a lot of work. Why? Like, I kind of want to get into the apartment buildings, so bought my first apartment building in Inslee, Alabama. It's a 10-unit apartment building off on 30th Street. It's actually my air conditioning guy. He owned it, so I bought it from him. It's a good deal. It's just severely under-rented. So for a home, single-family home, its value is determined by the street, the neighborhood, the school zone, and all that. But for apartment building, it's solely by its performance. NOI, net operating income, how much money it makes. So that building was making, basically, there are only 2 ways to increase your NOI. Bump the rent or lower expense. Sure. So I bought that 10-unit apartment building, did the thing. Bump the rent, lower the expense. Within 6 months, I got it sold. 6 months, I got it under contract. I paid $270 for it, and it's under contract for $460. And it's just cap rate. You were talking about cap rate. I was like, well, I didn't do anything. I didn't do any renovations.
Except all you did was increase the rent, lower the
Call my
expenses.
property manager. I was like, hey, I want to bring this rent to where they are. We're paying too much for this landscaper. We're paying too much for pest control. We're paying too much for this and that. Call Jefferson County. Be like, hey, I'm paying too much for property tax. The house has aluminum wiring, so you shouldn't charge me this much money. So didn't do anything, and I put 20% down for the apartment building, because when you flip a house, most of the time I flip it with my own cash right now. So each house is about 300, 400 grand chunk of cash. But for apartment building, I only need 20% on that money, and I don't have to do any renovations, no permits, no inspections, nothing. So it's like, this is nice. Less money, I made more. I spent less money and made more money. I can do this again. So I bought another 8-unit, bought another 10-unit, bought another 20-unit.
So Gary, it just seems like to me you started with one, and you just did a couple deals, did a few more deals, and you kept taking that cash and kind of recycling that cash, kept building and building bigger and bigger and bigger. That's the story I hear from a lot of folks.
Snowball.
If you were advising someone today to get into real estate, I'm sure that you would advise them the same. You got to start with one, right?
I'll say a little bit of something is better than all of nothing. So if you just read one word from a book today, just one single word, it's over 1 trillion times better than read nothing at all. Even though you just read one word. So
Gary,
do something.
I've known you for a little while now. I've always known you in real estate. I never knew you were doing things this big. When somebody sees like a deal this massive, I know a lot of the times that it's like, this is too overwhelming. How did you even find a deal like this? How did this deal come across?
Well, it's kind of like buying a single family home. Like, if you want to find a good deal, buying single family homes, there are a few ways. I'll have a YouTube video covering this. I mean, I'll give you a quick version. property managers, realtors, pocket listings, friends and families, and trying to think the other one. I really forgot.
But these are all the ways that you would find a deal, any deal, whether it's single family, multifamily, whatever it is that you're looking
so
for.
I know. I just caught up the owner. I just feel like, hey, let's grab lunch together. I'd like to get to know you a little better. Sit down, talk, and see if there's something we can work out together. And that's how it worked out. And this larger deals is really where the money is right now, because I would not buy. Because if you think about it this way, America has always been a country that rewards the top, helps the bottom, but leave the middle stranded. The middle class is disappearing for the past 100 years. So when COVID happened, we have all the cash came in. Everybody had that cash, so everybody realized real estate is a gold mine. Let's put some money into real estate. So that's why the things that middle class has access to, the price got so high. So single family homes. I sold my 8-unit apartment building for 4 cap. Cap rate is pretty much if you paid a building all cash, that's the percentage you make on your money.
4 cap.
4 cap in Oldenvale. It's Class C. This building I paid
Oldenvale's growing. That's it's not this.
I paid 7.5 cap for this thing. So
okay, wow.
Yeah. So Oldenvale, it's just like people have access to the things people have access to. Middle class has access to. It's gone up dramatically. So the only two. Think about the restaurant, okay? The top of the tier restaurant, Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, that's what makes money. The bottom of the line, you have those Chinese takeouts or taco trucks. Those restaurants make money. The ones in the middle, Red Lobster or Jimmy John's and those Logan's Roadhouse, those mid-tier restaurants, they are getting squeezed. Think about this way. Just real estate, same thing. Class A assets like this, you can afford cost segregation. You can negotiate with the city for tax incentives. Class D, you have Section 8 guaranteed rent. You have opportunity zone, which is a little. Hey Noah.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. This is my leasing manager. Sorry about that. Class D, you have Section 8 guaranteed rent, and you have opportunity zone tax breaks. But guess what? In the middle, Class B single family homes, you gotta pay double the property tax. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. It's not making money at all. And
so the very top and the very bottom are easier ways to make money. Staying kind of playing in the middle.
In the middle is flips. You gotta flip the middle. You get in, get out, get in, get out.
Interesting.
And then this depends on the top and the bottom. You gotta decide your niche. You want to do the top or the bottom? For me, I'm the top. Why? Think about this. If I have a little house in a D-class neighborhood that rents about $800 a month, if I call my plumber, hey, I need to fix that toilet, it's going to charge me $200, right? But if I have a house that I charge $2,000 a month, the toilet goes out $200, same $200. The air conditioning unit is not going to last any longer in a D-class house or a Class A house. So it's the same thing. So for me, I'm like Class A all the way. You want to get into the top of the line asset. If you think about it, the people that living a great lifestyle, like own jets, own yachts, what do they own? They don't. But most of them, they own this type of assets. So,
guys, stay tuned. We're going to do another video with Gary coming up where I'm going to ask him about the numbers. I'm going to ask him what he paid for it. I'm going to ask him, he already mentioned the cap rate. I'm going to ask him what the rents are. I'm going to ask him all the questions about this building, and we're going to give you guys a tour. Stay tuned for the next one.